Welcome everyone to the 2015 Goody's Headache Relief Shot 500 at Martinsville race review, where I recap what went on before the race, during the race, and after the race. And man, do I have a lot to talk about from Sunday's race. A lot of good, bad, and ugly, in my opinion. And the thing is, if you realize that this video is longer than some other race reviews as of recently, don't be surprised because of that. And the thing is, this is now my third take at doing this. And the thing is, I'm just gonna say that because of what happened, I may not be able to really give super detailed analysis on what happened on every single lap or so. It might just be a little bit more opinion and sort of maybe doing a little bit more of trying to trying to recap it, maybe squeeze a whole lot of laps all into one sentence, Also, because some controversial events happened, I am going to be giving my opinion on them, and I hope that you can definitely respect my opinion. So now I'm just going to get into my thoughts on the race. The racing, in my opinion, I'm just going to describe it like this: good old short track racing. Martinsville, regardless of what rules package you have, it's probably the least aero sensitive racetrack out there, and to me the less aero sensitive, and to me the less aero, the better the racing is. And the thing is, the racing, in my opinion, was pretty good throughout the whole entire race. It was actually pretty interesting because the thing is, when you look at the first two green flag runs, the first run lasted 44 laps. The second run lasted for 46 laps. But then after that, once the second caution came out for Michael Net spinning, we eventually got ourselves into a cautions situation, and for about the next 100 laps, we did not have a green flag run last longer than 16 laps, I believe. And along the way, we had some multi-car incidents. But the thing is, overall, there weren't really a whole lot of chase implications up until the last 70, 80 laps, and then all of a sudden some crazy stuff started happening. But overall, I think the racing was pretty good. And now thinking about it, I think both Martinsville races are going to go down as some of the best races in 2015, just because of some of the stuff I mentioned earlier. And the thing is, this race might actually go down as the race of the season, just simply because of that. There was definitely a lot of drama. And the thing is, the winner of this race, which I'll get into that in a moment. And in case you have not realized from the thumbnail, definitely. It's definitely going to be, or it is, a popular victory, and I'll explain why I think so in a while. So overall, in my opinion, a great race. But now I might as well get into some of the pre-race information. And the thing is, other than the 2016 schedule announcement, which I actually made a video reacting to that, no fines or penalties for Kevin Harvick, crew chief Brian Childress, number 14, Superhouse Racing, or anything else related to that after last week's situation at Talladega, where Harvick was accused by some competitors and many fans on polls that got thousands of votes. It was like a two-third or three-fourths majority of fans believing that Harvick intentionally caused a big one just to keep his chase hopes alive. And if you want to know more, look it up yourself. It's pretty controversial, if you ask me. And to me, it was one of the main reasons why fans were upset. with last Sunday. Personally, I'm not joining any side, and I will never join any side. Whether Harvick's move was intentional or not. And to me, I think that for me, it's probably, in my opinion, a good thing to not join any side, just because I still do not know. Because the thing is, like, NASCAR has said this. I've looked into this, and obviously I've tried to stay away from like false information, etc. And the thing is, really, like, but to me, I think like here's my thing about this. NASCAR, thing is whether Harvick intentionally caused the wreck or not, NASCAR not penalizing Harvick or sort of I guess to many fans, NASCAR gave Harvick a free pass. Well, in my opinion, what that shows me is that basically, in NASCAR today, anything goes. You can do it. You can do whatever you have to do. Even if it's doing something like silly, ridiculous, stupid, or you know. And personally, I don't really know if I like that. Because to me, like, racing is not about like playing games or pulling through moves, but racing, in my opinion, is about going for wins and championships, and racing hard for them. In my opinion, that's what racing is all about. And the thing is also, I think NASCAR is going to say we didn't find we didn't see the evidence, like that's what NASCAR I think was like, when they announced this, and it to me, I think, like, man, I'm trying to really come up with words of what I want to say. Like, in my opinion, like, if you don't like, regardless, I just think that, like, whether or not Harvick did it intentional or not, if you don't penalize Harvick, then to me, are you going to penalize? Are you going to penalize the next driver? I did something similar to this, or are you going to be? Are you not going to penalize the next driver, or are you going to be inconsistent? I think it's obviously inconsistent and NASCAR are definitely two words that have been going together for the past several years, in my opinion. I don't know. It will just sort of, like, it will just sort of be interesting about how this goes in the future. Anyway, other news. And this is probably something that most of you probably have not heard of. Brian Patty is going to replace Matt Fuchsia, who was currently Greg Biffle's crew chief in 2016. Last week, I talked about this as a rumor, but now those rumors are true. Allgaier is leaving H. Scott Motorsports and heading to Deere Motorsports in the Xfinity Series, and now I might as well get into what happened this weekend. Logano wins first practice, and then after this first practice on Friday, there was talk about how, because of the newly installed safety barriers on the outside walls on the straightaways, it makes the track more narrow, and the some drivers have to change their styles up just a little bit. In fact, earlier in this race, I saw some drivers actually brushing on the wall where they obviously would not have brushed the wall before because of the safety barriers. But obviously, I think that regardless of whether it's a short track or a super speedway, you need safety barriers. Anyway, later Friday, Logano scored the pole, and so he sweeps both Martinsville poles. He also swept both Richmond poles, so Logano is sort of becoming a new Rocket Man. And then on Saturday, Junior, who won this recent season ago, wins second practice, and then 8-time Martinsville winner Jimmy Johnson wins happy hour. And if you were to look at the results, in practice and qualifying, and when I look at it, it made it look like that we were definitely going to be in for a race that could get interesting. A bunch of drivers that we talked about could win, or maybe drivers that are sort of underdogs could also win. It was certainly going to be an interesting race. And the thing is, this race did not come without a couple of concerns before the race even started. Rain had been talked about leading up to this race, and the thing is, last night, or at least this morning, there definitely was rain. The thing is also, another problem with this is that, to me, it put the race in jeopardy of being delayed. And the problem with this race being delayed is that Martinsville does not have lights. And the thing is, sunset. And the thing is, the sunset at Martinsville is about 4 hours after the race begins. Because this race is 500 laps, and because this race normally has a lot of cautions, and sometimes the red flag, it could had caused us to get into a situation where the race could be shortened due to darkness, and that actually has happened a couple times. Most recently, 2007 Kansas race, when half the time Kansas did not have lights. And the thing is, in this race, we came close. So to me, I have a couple of solutions. One of them is either that I move the start time maybe also an hour, or B, add lights to Martinsville. But to me, I think the easier solution is just simply to move back the start time. But I honestly doubt that's going to change anytime soon. So NASCAR, you have NASCAR and Martinsville Speedway. You have been warned. And actually, one interesting thing is that I actually brought this up a season ago as well in my race review. Anyways, so the thing is, so here are some of the main highlights. So the thing is, the race got off to a pretty interesting start, or basically, it's called a green-yellow start, and that means the race will start. But the thing is, it will start under caution, and chances are NASCAR did this just to get in the whole race and not waste more time, and to prevent the race from being shortened, and so the green-yellow start lasted for 7 laps. Then on lap 8, we finally got back to green flag, and the leads swapped between a couple drivers, Logano, Truex, and Gordon, and then we had our competition caution because of the rain, which originally was planned for lap 45, but was pushed back due to the green-yellow start, and actually. And depending on whether you count the green-yellow start, the race had 18 cautions or 17 cautions. Personally, I count it as 17 cautions. But anyway, so after the second competition caution, Logano led the race, and pretty much Logano A always had great restarts, and B always had great pit stops. He definitely benefited from having pit stall number 1 at the very end. But however, once the second caution came out from Michael and spinning, this eventually led to the next 100 laps, or about the next 100 laps, into a case of cautions breed cautions. And I think as a couple of them were for multi-car incidents. The first one, Allmendinger checked up, and it caused other drivers to check up. Others I'm not going to mention, and eventually it led to a pileup involving Denny Hamlin, Sam Horst Jr., Danica Patrick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Rick Biffle, and at least a couple others. And the reason why Hamlin was back there was because he was actually penalized after the competition caution for speeding. He would have restarted inside the top 10 had that not happened. And the thing is. And the thing is, with the exception of Hamlin, this really messed up everyone else's day. And then our third caution came out for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Something broke or a tire went down. He went into the turn 3 wall. Sam Horst Jr. And Ryan Preece got that together in quite a bizarre situation where basically my best guess is that Preece was actually forced down. So far down the racetrack, heading into turn 3, that he actually went over the curb back into Sam Horst Jr. And so Sam Horst Jr. goes around. That brings out another caution. Fifth caution comes out for. Okay, fine. It does not say it here. Everything is. It came out for When I say here, I mean racingreference.com. But the thing is, it came out for Greg Biffle spinning, I believe, either on his own or he had help. But also at the same time, Patrick and Gilliland got together, and Patrick came out as the loser. And then as our sixth caution, our second multi-car incident. Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon racing side by side, and actually Austin Dillon was up front because him and Paul Menard decided to stay out and see if they can gain a track position. The thing is, Kyle Busch actually he got his left side tires in water near the curb in turns 1-2, causing his car to get loose into Austin Dillon. Both of them spin, but both of them don't hit anything. But behind them, Carl Edwards, who was out at the top 10, ran into the back of Allmendinger, and that actually caused some pretty significant damage on the 47. Not on the 47, on the 19. And that would definitely hurt them. But the thing is, they were still able to stay on the lead lap. And then the next caution came out when entering turn number 3. Reagan hit Larson, who then Larson got into the Boyer back into the wall, and he would actually never come back out onto the racetrack. Finishes dead last. And then the next. And after that, we finally got in a long green flag run, 46 laps. And really, as this was all happening, there were a couple things that at the time that to me felt certain. Logano has another good shot to win. Keselowski also has a good shot at winning his second race of the season. But other than that, we had Kurt Busch. We had Truex, and if we're going to talk about non-chasers that could spoil the party, we had McMurray, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and eventually later on in the race, Denny Hamlin was actually able to recover that in a car that was actually taped up a lot, able to race into the top 10. Kenseth also. It seems like Kenseth, even though he has not won at Martinsville yet, he has just been a lot better ever since he has gone to Joe Gibbs Racing. He was also marching towards the front early on. Kevin Harvick was also strong, and those are a couple things, and those are many things that are worth mentioning. And so during this run, we did not have another caution up until Greg Biffle spun all on his own. Another long green flag run, 39 laps. Well, it's a long green flag run for Martinsville, and especially for this race. Biffle spun once again, so Biffle spun 3 times. Which possibly all of them were on his own. He was not having a good time. And then after that, we had our longest green flag run of the race. It lasted 92 laps, and the thing is, by the time it was over, Brad Keselowski had a 10-second lead, or almost a 10-second lead. And the thing is that for the average lap lasting just over 20 seconds, that is pretty. It was definitely, in my opinion, certainly impressive. And actually, it's probably never ever going to happen in Martinsville. And honestly, I don't even know the last time it ever happened in Martinsville. But the thing is, it would be pretty interesting if maybe one day at Martinsville, a green flag run could go on for so long that it actually leads to green flag pit stops. Green flag pit stops at a short track like Martinsville could be very interesting, especially since when you make a green flag pit stop at Martinsville, you could potentially lose 2 or 3 laps, and if the caution comes out, that really could put you in a hole. It will be interesting if maybe one day, it happens, but to me, as long as races like this one continue to have so many cautions, 17, it's never going to happen, unfortunately. But it would be something that I would like to see. And not just at Martinsville, but the thing is about Richmond and Bristol as well. Anyway, so the thing is, the reason why the long green flag run of 92 laps ended was because of Kyle Fowler in the 32 car something broke on the car. He went into the turn 3 wall, and then after that, we had 31 lap green flag run ended by Danica Patrick and David Gilliland. Patrick decided to retaliate David Gilliland after thinking that Gilliland put her in the wall earlier in the race. And the thing is, the retaliation goes wrong, and then 1 lap later, Patrick is still sideways and waits for Gilliland. And the thing is, there were 2 things that happened. First of all, Patrick rammed into the back of Gilliland. At the same time, Gilliland also stopped, probably just so Patrick would get enough damage that would end her day. And the thing is, it would end her day. She would go behind the wall. I don't know if NASCAR parked her. I don't think anything was said about it. But maybe Patrick just simply policed herself and went behind the wall. And the thing is, they'll bring out another caution. And that caution was our 12th or that was our 12th caution anyway. So here we go. And under this caution, some pretty interesting. No, wait, never mind. It was the next caution. The next caution came out for Jeb Burton, possibly, maybe, who knows, maybe he was trying to take out Gilliland, made contact with the 38, then he comes down on St. Horst Jr. And spins himself out. And the thing is, the reason why this is important is because it actually led to a pretty interesting cycle of pit stops under the caution. And the thing is, here's what happened. You're not gonna find. I don't think you're gonna find this right now. But the thing is, later on, a full race should be uploaded of today's race, and you'll be able to see it. So basically, at Martinsville, ever since Martinsville has had double fall restarts, everyone, when pit stops happen under caution, everyone fights to come out as an odd number: 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, you name it. And the thing is, sometimes what a driver might do is that a driver might purposely slow down or stop to let someone else go by, just so they could come out as 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, etc. And the thing is, sometimes this has led to calamity. And the thing is, it did lead to calamity, because the thing is, what would happen is that Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch made contact, and eventually, after the next caution, and actually, I'm checking something here. This actually happened on the pit stops after Patrick and Gilliland got together, and then eventually Kevin Harvick, after the caution for Jeb Burton, he actually came down and made an unexpected pit stop, and for a driver that had been up front most of the day, and I believe led laps. He led a total of 38 laps. He was now going to be stuck in traffic. It would have been interesting to know why Harvick exactly came down pit road, or maybe I just did not catch it. But anyway, so now leads us to another restart. Logano restarts on the high side, Keselowski on the inside, Kenseth following him. Kurt Busch starts 3rd. And the thing is, here's what happened. Heading into turns 1 and 2, Logano clears Keselowski, and Kenseth tries to follow him because Kenseth got a very good restart. And the thing is, Kenseth had to actually fight back to this position after having a terrible stop earlier. Him and Keselowski make contact once off turn number 2, and then the second time it all goes horribly wrong. Kenseth spins right in front of the field. Kurt Busch gets collected, and actually, when him and Kenseth make contact, Kurt's car went airborne just a little bit into the inside wall. And the thing is, Kurt Busch, maybe Kurt Busch had no brakes. I don't exactly know. But the thing is, he hits the inside wall and then comes right back and then comes right back in front of the field in turns 3 and 4. Actually, almost takes out Jeff Gordon, and Reagan did an amazing job to avoiding that, to avoiding what could have been a multi-car incident. But the thing is, huge chase implications. Keselowski is currently in the chase. So is Kurt Busch. And both of them have been running up front most of the day before this happened. And Kenseth was also having a good day, as I said earlier. And the thing is, this takes out three contenders for the win. And basically, I think definitely the blame game is going to be played here. But personally, I think this is a product of just somebody racing hard for a position. Certainly in the middle of turns 1 and 2, Kurt Busch, who was also getting a push from McMurray. So the thing is, Kurt Busch probably he probably couldn't do anything but push Keselowski. He definitely did get into Keselowski, which also got him up into Kenseth. But the thing is, coming after number 2, they were already, Keselowski and Kenseth were so close to each other that a wreck was pretty much now looking at the replay, it was almost a certain a wreck was going to happen anyway. And the thing is, so to me, I think personally, this was just a product of just some hard racing. Unfortunately, there were 3 losers: Keselowski, Kenseth, and Kurt Busch. And this is definitely going to put Keselowski and Kurt Busch in must-win situations for the next 2 weeks: Texas and Phoenix. And there were actually many. The thing is, for the rest of the field, amazing driving, because the thing is, Jeff Gordon could have gotten collected, McMurray could have gotten collected, Reagan, Kyle Busch, Johnson, the list goes on and on. Not to mention the fact that when a wreck happens this close to the front, at the rest of the field behind them, could easily check out, and it could create an even bigger wreck behind them. The fact that didn't happen was also pretty amazing. So it's a pretty amazing driving by everyone else. But anyway. Now moving on to the next thing that happened. So the thing is, after did they come down pit road? No. Okay, no pits left. So the thing is, we had a restart on lap 444. And thing is, a wreck almost happened between Johnson, Jr. and Reagan. That it didn't happen. And then a couple laps later, Logano once again pulls out to the lead. And at this point, it looked like that Logano, unless something happened to him, Logano was going to have this in the bag. Now that Keselowski, Kurt Busch, and Kenseth had no chance. And thing is, simply at the time, Gordon, he was definitely strong, but not strong enough. Same for McMurray, Kyle Busch, etc. I just think that Logano, at this point, he looked unbeatable. But then chaos occurs. That's one way you can describe it. So on lap 153, the cameras were focused on Logano, and off in the distance, I could see Kenseth. And then exiting turns 3 and 4, Logano puts Kenseth on a lap down. But the thing is, Kenseth is not letting Logano get away. He's not just gonna pull over and let Logano go by. And then across the start finish line, it looks like Kenseth is trying to put Logano into the wall. And the thing is, entering turns 1 and 2, the two of them make contact. The thing is, chances are, I doubt Kenseth is currently letting off the gas at all. The two make contact, and then continues to just drive into the left rear of Logano. And the thing is, both of them go hard into the outside wall, so both of them got wrecked. Kenseth, this is pretty much in his day. And the thing is, Logano would have to spend several laps behind the wall. And the thing is, overall, the emotions were very high. Logano, you could see it in Logano's face. He was clearly frustrated. Kenseth, to me, I just think that Kenseth at the time was thinking he did what he wanted to do. And the thing is, the fan reaction in the grandstands was, in my opinion, insane. And the thing is, I've been watching NASCAR since the fall of 2007. And the thing is, with the exception of Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning, I don't know if I've ever heard the crowd that loud during a race. It was insane. Chances are, I think a lot of fans are probably either Logano haters or simply people that have not been very pleased with what Logano has done. With drivers like Kenseth and some for fans to see it, and some for fans to see Logano get what he deserves according to many fans. I think that it was just a great moment for those fans. Logano's pit crew is upset. Kansas pit crew almost in a way it almost looks like that, like they couldn't believe of what Kenseth did. So maybe Kansas crew did not have any idea Kenseth was going to do that. And the thing is, at the time, I just felt like that I could not speak. I was genuinely shocked and just amazed and just could not believe that happened. Now looking back on the replay, seeing it several times, but watching it on NASCAR's official YouTube channel, I sort of, I guess, at the time, forgot that Logano and Kenseth had gone into altercations at Kansas and Talladega the past 2 weeks. Not to mention that Kenseth, this race now marks Kenseth's 4th week in a row that Kenseth has been part of a wreck. So the thing is, Kenseth clearly was not going to put up with it. And the thing is, personally, the entire thing, in my opinion, I did not like it whatsoever. Because to me, I'm not someone who encourages who encourages wrecking someone out, especially if you're in Kenseth's position, multiple laps down, and then multiple laps down a slower car, and then all of a sudden, and they just take out the leader. Not to mention, you're not in the chase, but Logano is in the chase. And personally, in my opinion, I don't think Logano intentionally wrecked Kenseth at Kansas, and I don't think that Logano meant to be in Kansas' way at Talladega. And to me personally, if Kenseth was going to be mad at someone for this race, be mad at Keselowski. But the thing is, I just, like I said, I just do not support this. I do not encourage it. And the thing is, simply, I think NASCAR needs to get. I think NASCAR needs to get a grip on this, because the thing is, if this type of stuff, whether it's Kenseth and Logano today, or Harvick did last week at Talladega, NASCAR I think needs to address this and needs to decide most likely penalties about this. Because the thing is, personally, okay, fine. If NASCAR penalizes Kenseth, to me, I think it's going to be a sign to competitors and fans that they cannot do this. However, if NASCAR gives Kenseth, I guess you could say, a free pass, it's going to make it look like that. Once again, anything goes. You can do whatever you want, even if it's something blatant, ridiculous, or whatever. So to me, maybe it's best for me to not keep on going about this. The thing is, overall, I just didn't like it. I think NASCAR needs to get a grip. I also did not like about how. To me, I don't even know if Kenseth personally owned up to the situation. It affected me. I think I've seen some reports that Kenseth said that sorry guys, I had a right front tire going down, or something was breaking. So the thing is, if Kenseth was not telling the truth, to me, I think I also have a problem for that, and I also feel pretty bad for Logano. Okay, fine. Personally, I like Logano more than Kenseth. And I certainly felt bad for what happened to Kenseth after Kansas. A product of hard racing, in my opinion. Not because Harvick intentionally dumped Kenseth. because to me, I feel like that there may not be enough evidence. Oh, great. I'm digging myself a hole. Yeah, I just simply didn't like it. It'll be interesting to see what NASCAR does, because the thing is, chances are, other than the eventual winner, this was the biggest news story out of Martinsville. And the thing is, I just think NASCAR, you just gotta get this thing under control. That's just my opinion. Because frankly, in my opinion, this kind of stuff, in my opinion, does not gain fans, or at least it doesn't gain like long term fans in the future. It might possibly lose fans if this kind of stuff continues to happen. Anyway, now moving on. So the thing is, now drivers like Logano, Keselowski, Kenseth, Kurt Busch, and Kevin Harvick were not towards the front anymore. This is where things got pretty interesting. Jeff Gordon inherited the lead, and the thing is, they all came out of the pit road. Jeff Gordon, and the thing is, everyone took 4 tires. Jeff Gordon won the race off pit road, and for once the team actually had a great pit stop, as opposed to pit stops early in the race where they actually lost spots on pit road. The thing is, Jeff Gordon would not be the leader. He would restart third behind Hamlin and AJ Allmendinger, who both of them decided to stay out. So to me, here's where things get interesting. And so here we go. Restart on lap 460. And the thing is, Hamlin and Allmendinger were actually racing side by side for at least a few laps. And the thing is, well, actually, never mind. That was actually a later restart. Allmendinger, who was on the outside, was actually able to pass the leader Denny Hamlin, and so that was really the first time all race long, or after a lap, the driver who restarted on the outside was able to grab the lead. And so the thing is, with Allmendinger leading, and to be honest, I was actually hoping that Allmendinger could actually win this race, because the thing is, I think it would have been great to see Allmendinger get his first oval win, because the thing is, obviously, we've seen how well Allmendinger can do on road courses. The thing is, it'd be cool to see if Allmendinger could have success on ovals. He's had some good finishes every now and then on ovals, but not a win. And this race was definitely one of, if not his best shot in his career. But the thing is, that would all come to a pause, because the thing is, on lap 466, Darren Reagan and Austin Dillon got together. Reagan spun in the middle of turns 1-2. That brings out another caution number 16. And so here we go. Restart, lap 471. 29 more laps to go. And the thing is, Hamlin tries to fight AJ Allmendinger for at least a couple laps, but the thing is, cannot loses second place to Jeff Gordon. And the thing is, Jeff Gordon, a couple laps later, is now going to close down on Allmendinger, and he did that. At this point, I thought to myself, Jeff Gordon, winning would definitely help him make the Final Four. Jeff Gordon, and maybe not just Jeff Gordon. The thing is, also Mark Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch, who were also running inside the top 10 or 5. They need to make sure that if they don't get into trouble, they need to capitalize on others' misfortune. And the thing is also, like in the case of Jeff Gordon, if a caution comes out and Jeff Gordon restarts second, he's screwed. So the thing is, Jeff Gordon needed to get the lead if a caution was going to come out. And the thing is, Jeff Gordon, after a couple laps, on Allmendiger's bumper, I don't know if Gordon used the bumper run. I don't know. No, but the thing is, Gordon was able to take the lead on lap 200, on lap 479. So Jeff Gordon leads. And the thing is, he's pulling away. But the thing is, a couple laps later, Damien McMurray is second. Mark Truex Jr. in third. Kyle Busch and Dale Jr. are now all of a sudden in the top 5. And the thing is, there were also a couple things that I was noticing. Jeff Gordon's brakes, the brake rollers, they were glowing, and it was very obvious. You could see it. And so to me, I thought once Jeff Gordon gets the lead and passes Allmendinger, he better conserve of his stuff, especially if a caution comes out. The same goes for drivers like Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch, but at the time I was only thinking about Jeff Gordon. And thing is, McMurray, he definitely was not letting Jeff Gordon get away. And on a couple laps, McMurray was actually fighting, not fighting. He was actually faster than Jeff Gordon. It made me think that like maybe like McMurray could actually pull off the upset, or not the upset, but upset. But and the thing is, actually, I actually wrote this with less than 10 laps to go. I actually wrote waiting for a caution. So the thing is, I had a feeling that caution was going to come out. And guess what? The caution did come out. Caution number 17 on lap 494. Sam Horse Jr. spins in turns 1, 2. I cannot remember why, but the thing is, really all that matters is just pointing that out. And the thing is, no one was coming up the road. And the thing is, here's how it was looking. We had Jeff Gordon first, McMurray second, and I actually do not know the rest of the restart order. But the thing is, I do know that we had Hamlin, Dale Jr., Kyle Busch, Martinsville Jr., Newman, Harvick, and maybe a couple others, all inside the top 10. And in case you're wondering about Allmendinger, once Allmendinger lost the lead, he started dropping spots and actually almost, or he did make slight contact with the wall. So definitely unfortunate for him. And then all of a sudden, here we go, restart. Not a green checker, but actually with a restart with 2 laps to go. Here we go, restart. Jeff Gordon gets a restart of his life. But the thing is, McMurray trying to not let Gordon get away and trying to not let Gordon pass him. But McMurray to step on Gordon through turns 1 and 2. They're side by side, pretty close to each other. Dale Jr. Goes to the bottom. And the thing is, here we go. Off turns 3 and 4, Gordon clears McMurray, and that's what Gordon needs to do. Here we go, white flags. So the thing is, if the caution comes out, the race is over. McMurray trying to get to the bumper of Jeff Gordon, but the thing is, he's just running out of time. Gordon gets a good run off turn number 2. And the thing is, no one had anything for McMurray. McMurray drove it in deep in turn 3 and 4, but it was not enough. Off of turn number 4, Jeff Gordon finally gets the victory lane in 2015, and it comes in his final race at Martinsville. Career win number 93, and most importantly, this locks him in the championship final 4. In the championship 4. So the thing is, in his final career season, Jeff Gordon is going to compete for championship. How about that? Even though based on 33 races, Jeff Gordon is actually not in the top 4 in points when it comes to most points earned. He would actually be, if this wasn't the chase, he would be more around 10th. But to me, nevertheless, I think at this point we just have to understand that a championship is still a championship. The championship, regardless of how you earned it, whether or not you agree that the champion is worthy or not. Unfortunately, I think it's just simply what I'm going to have to deal with. And eventually, Jeff Gordon, he did not do any burnouts. The thing is, what he did do is that he came towards the start finish time. The crowd is going crazy, cheering for Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon steps out of the car, and Jeff Gordon, and I wrote down in my notes, Jeff Gordon celebrates like no other. And to me, one cool thing about the celebration was how actually at the flag stand they turned on the lights on his car. It almost looked like something that they would see in like a theater when they use like a big light and cast it over the stars of the show. And overall, seeing Jeff Gordon finally get victory lane, it was and as someone who since I have been, and someone who really up until maybe last year was pretty neutral on Jeff Gordon, it was very amazing for me to witness this great moment, not only in his career but also in NASCAR. And I think now many of you understand why this is such a popular victory. And the thing is, listening to Jeff Gordon in his interviews, it was also something very special for me to also watch it, and I was glad that I was definitely able to see that. And the thing is, when it comes to when it comes to many of NASCAR's greatest drivers or stars, going back to the days of Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, and now drivers like Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and maybe even a couple of drivers, not to mention drivers that I think can be easily forgotten, but the thing is also had good careers, like Mark Martin, Davey Allison, Alan Kulwicki, etc. When it comes to some of his drivers, not many of them have been able to do what Jeff Gordon did today, and that is win a race in the closing stages of your career. Because honestly, thinking about it now, it makes me it does make me pretty sad, knowing the fact that like Mark Martin and Jeff Burton's last career victories came at least a few years, or maybe I should say many years before they would eventually retire from racing. But in the case of Jeff Gordon, I think it's also what makes this one very cool. And the thing is, it's also, I think it also makes sense for him to have career, for him to also have what could be his last career victory at Martinsville Speedway. He now breaks the tie with Jimmy Johnson, as possibly third on the all-time wins list at 9 wins. And actually, it's going to be interesting watching NASCAR next season, because Jeff Gordon is going to be in the booth, and there's probably at least going to be a couple of mentions of like I Mike Joy, and along next to me, the winner of the last Martinsville race, Jeff Gordon. So overall, just simply a great moment. And I think that even though like the chase largely contributed to this, it is going to be pretty cool to see Jeff Gordon in his final season compete for a championship. He could go out on top. There's a good chance. And the thing is, Homestead in recent years has actually been a good track for him. He won the race in 2012 and dominated the race one season ago. So who knows? It's not over till it's over for Jeff Gordon, and there's definitely no give up attitude in him or this team. And the thing is now, they're gonna have 2 races to be prepared. And the thing is, Texas next week, I think for him and that team is going to be sort of like a practice session for Homestead, because the thing is, Texas its surface is pretty similar. It's worn out. A lot like Homestead, it has multiple grooves, even though the layouts are somewhat completely different. And the thing is, as for the rest of the chase drivers, this late in the season, none of them are safe. There are definitely drivers that could be screwed though, and it would definitely hurt me to see them be eliminated. Well, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, and Logano are all plus 20 points out off of the cuff line. So the thing is, unless drivers like Kyle Busch, Harvick Jr., and Kevin Harvick all have problems, they're going to have to win. And it will honestly surprise me if Logano, Kurt Busch, or Keselowski could point their way in at this rate. And the thing is, speaking of Texas, that's obviously where we are going next week. And the thing is, overall, the race here in the spring, it actually had a total of 29 lead changes, including a pretty close battle between Johnson, Harvick, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Johnson was the winner of that race, and Johnson has actually won the last three fall races to Johnson. So the thing is, in my opinion, definitely look out for Jimmy Johnson. But the thing is, anyone else, it's kind of a bit of an unknown. I mean, Harvick, he was good. I mean, Harvick, he was definitely good here in the spring. And the thing is, so definitely watch out for Harvick. And the thing is, anyone else, I'm not exactly sure. So the thing is, Texas, it will be interesting. And obviously, if you can remember that race a season ago, it was definitely very intense in the closing stages of that race, including the brawl, the famous brawl between Jeff Gordon and Keselowski. So overall, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the days leading up to Texas, and then eventually the Texas race. So now I'm pretty much over. Be sure. Thank you all for watching this longer race review, but I think now some of you can understand why. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and bye. See you all later.